Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Positive Proof Podcast. I'm your host, Parmis, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you want to listen to more episodes like this one on self-improvement, mindset, and wellness, go ahead and hit that follow button to join the family. Before I get into today's episode, I just want to ask you guys for a quick and kind favor, and that is if you haven't yet left a review, I would absolutely appreciate if you could do so. It helps so much to build this podcast and help it grow so that we can increase the positive impact we make and just overall make it a bigger community. Also, if you are looking for daily motivation, follow me on Instagram at Positive Proof Podcast, where I post behind the scenes content and daily quotes that serve as sweet daily reminders. And if anyone is wondering how to leave episode requests, you can actually send me your thoughts via the DM me your thoughts link in the description or just via Instagram DM as well. Now, I know we have all seen those Insta posts or TikToks of dreamy lifestyles, loft-level windows, laptop on the Amalfi balcony, relationship that looks like an ad for oat milk lattes, and the caption that says, "I manifested this." You double tap, but a part of you wonders, is that actually a thing or is it just good lighting? And in today's episode, we're going to be skipping the fluff and breaking down why the law of attraction can feel real when you use it like a system and not like a slogan. And so we're going to be mapping out 5 moves. We're going to be shining a light on the hidden self-talk that drags your frequency down, locking the already got it feeling into your body so your brain notices matching shots in real life, placing yourself where lucky breaks hang out, and letting your surrounding quietly steer your habits. And most important, holding the desire without white-knuckling the deadline. For those of you tuning in from Spotify, scroll down and vote in today's poll which area you are most focused on manifesting this year, whether it's career and money, health and body, relationships, lifestyle and travel, or something else. If it's something else, you can also leave a comment down below. Now, if you're ready to stop doom scrolling and start consciously directing the algorithm of your own life, let's dive in. Point number 1 is going to be on shadow work, where we flip the hidden switches. Now, most people think manifesting stalls because they're just not positive enough. And in reality, the breaks are usually hidden stories running on autopilot. Beliefs you picked up in childhood from a past job or even a throwaway comment an ex made years ago. And shadow work is the practice of dragging those stories into daylight so they stop steering your life from the backseat. So start with a tiny, honest audit. Pick one goal you crave, say earning 6 figures doing work you love, and write it at the top of the page. Now sit with it for 1 minute and record every knee-jerk objection your brain fires back. For example, I'm just not management material. My degree isn't relevant. My parents will think I'm arrogant. Don't fight the thoughts, just list them. This raw list is absolute gold. Each line is a subconscious script that quietly shapes what you notice, who you talk to, and which emails you never send. Next, you're going to name the origin of each script. So you're going to ask, where did I first hear this? Maybe the "people like me don't make that kind of money" traces back to a middle school teacher who mocked your ambition. Seeing the source instantly shrinks the thought, and it's no longer universal truth, just a recycled comment from one human on one Tuesday years ago. Now, with the origins mapped, you're going to run the proof clip exercise. For every limiting line, I want you to dig up one real world example that contradicts it. For example, if you wrote, "I'm too shy to lead," search your memory or LinkedIn for someone that's soft-spoken who leads brilliantly and screenshot their profile, headline, or press mention and paste it beneath the objection. Because what you're doing here is you're training your brain's reticular activating system, which is essentially the filter that decides what counts as relevant, to tag these counterexamples as proof that your new belief is possible. And over time, the filter starts serving you more of the same. Articles on inclusive leadership, invites to small group speaking workshops, even random DMs from mentors you didn't know existed. It looks like coincidence, but it's really just fresh data slipping past an updated gatekeeper. Now, rewrite the script in present tense, but keep it believable. Like, I'm a magnetic leader who earns 6 figures. Might feel like cosplay if you're still at entry level. So go for something your nervous system can actually swallow. For example, I'm learning to lead small projects with calm confidence, and it's opening doors to higher pay. Read that line out loud, slow, and 3 times, and notice any tension in your body, whether it's tight shoulders, a buzzing stomach, anything. That's residue from the old belief. So I want you to place a hand on the 10th spot and breathe into it for 4 counts and exhale for 6. You're pairing the new sentence with a relaxed body cue so your brain flags it as safe and not threatening. This is so important. Now, micro exposure comes next. I want you to pick one low-risk action that aligns with the new script and do it within 24 hours. Volunteer to run the kickoff meeting, or ask a colleague how they prepared for their promotion. Record a 60-second loom summarizing yesterday's wins and share it with your team. When the action goes fine, no lightning strikes. No public shaming. Your nervous system logs another proof point. So you're going to repeat that daily. Consistency matters way more than size. 10 tiny wins beats just one heroic leap followed by a crash. Now, expect pushback from the ego because your brain loves the familiar even when it sucks. The moment you stretch, the old story may roar, "This is cringe." So I want you to treat that voice like a pop-up ad. Say, "Thanks, noted," and click the mental X. You're not suppressing the thought, you're choosing not to buy the product. Finally, you're going to reflect weekly. Friday night, skim your objection list and proof clips, highlight new evidence that appeared, maybe a recruiter message or a compliment about your calm leadership, because seeing the scoreboard move keeps motivation fresh and shows the subconscious that it's safe to keep upgrading. Now, shadow work isn't a one-time detox. It is dental hygiene for your mindset. 5 minutes a day keeps hidden plague from hardening into facts. Clear the static, and every other manifestation tool like visualization, inspired action, even lucky breaks gets a way stronger signal to ride on. Now ask yourself, are you ready to meet the version of you who isn't sabotaged by old sound bites? If so, grab a pen and start the audit tonight. Moving on to the second point, which is somatic signaling, teaching your body the feeling first. Mind-only manifesting is like streaming 4K video on dial-up. It buffers forever. Your nervous system has to feel the reality you want before your brain will hunt for the matching proof. And that's where somatic signaling comes in. Instead of starting with pictures in your head, you start with sensations in your body because the body is faster at updating beliefs than words will ever be. So step 1, choose the emotion, not the object. Let's say the end goal is working from a beach villa. What feeling sits under that vision? Is it freedom, safety, play? Pick one. Freedom, for example, is a signal you'll program into your muscles and breathe. When the body can switch on freedom at will, the law of attraction has a stable frequency to lock onto, and your actions line up without you policing every single thought. Anchor the feeling with a ritual that takes under 2 minutes. So stand up, plant your feet hip-width apart, roll your shoulders back so your heart has literal space. Inhale for a slow count of 4, letting your ribs widen like an umbrella, and hold for 1 beat. Exhale for 6, softening your jaw. As the breath slows, picture a tiny dial in your chest turning from gray to a color that means freedom to you. Maybe it's sunrise gold. On the final exhale, add a physical cue. Press thumb and middle finger together or spritz a signature scent in the air. That extra cue is really important. It tags the feeling so you can recall it later in half a second, the way a single guitar chord can teleport you back to high school. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to rehearse it where you'll actually need it. So do the ritual right before opening your inbox, before a sales call, or while boarding the subway. You're teaching your nervous system that freedom isn't location-based and that it's portable. After a week of pairing thumb press plus sunrise breath with real-life stressors, your body starts offering freedom by default, the same way it once offered tension. And because your emotional baseline has shifted, your reticular activating system recalibrates what counts as important. And suddenly you notice a tweet about a remote-only rule, or you overhear someone in a coffee shop talking about subletting their Bali co-working loft. These micro moments were always there. You just couldn't spot them through the static of an unmanaged body state. Now, expect a wobble, because the first few times, your shoulders might slam back up, or the breath might feel fake. And that is proof that you're rewiring old circuits, not proof you're doing it wrong. When the wobble hits, shorten the ritual to something you can't argue with. 1 deep sigh and a single thumb finger press. The point is consistency here, not drama. Now, you can also stack somatics onto existing habits. Freedom dial while waiting for your coffee to brew, for example. Safety dial while the shower heats. Play dial every time you shut your laptop at 5 p.m. Habit stacking keeps willpower out of the equation and lets the body rewire itself on autopilot. And of course, you have to log the evidence. Each night, jot one moment when the new body state showed up unprompted. Maybe you laughed on a call that used to terrify you, or you noticed your posture tall instead of huddled while answering emails. Those micro wins prove the signal is sticking. And they're also catnip for the subconscious, which loves results and will double down when it sees them. Now, why does this even matter for attraction? Well, the universe, fate, probability, whatever name you prefer, doesn't hand out rewards for being good. It responds to the channels you're broadcasting. Somatic signaling locks your frequency in first so that visualization, affirmations, and action steps don't have to drag dead weight. You stop using grit to force new behavior and start using embodied emotion to invite it. Do this for 7 days and notice how the outside world mirrors the inside upgrade. A stranger compliments your calm. A friend sends a job lead that fits your hidden wish list. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe your body finally spoke the language opportunity it understands. Either way, the balcony life just moved one step closer from wishful daydream to lived sensation. Moving on to point number 3, serendipity engineering. So making chance work overtime. Now, luck feels random until you look at it under a microscope. Behind every right place, right time story is a web of rooms entered, DMs sent, and side comments overheard that quietly loaded the dice. Serendipity engineering is the art of choosing those inputs on purpose, expanding the surface area where opportunity can bump into you, so the so-called universe has more doors to walk through. So I want you to begin by mapping the neighborhood of your goal. If you want to break into UX design, for example, the neighborhood might include Figma meetups, Slack channels for product founders, and cafes near co-working hubs. For a wellness coaching dream, swap in local studio events or nutrition webinars and LinkedIn groups for HR benefits managers. Write down at least 5 spaces online or offline where your future peers and gatekeepers already hang out. This list becomes your collision grid. Next, set a weekly collision quota. 2 fresh touch points is plenty to start. 1 in real life, 1 digital. Maybe you pop into a virtual portfolio review on Tuesday night, then spend Saturday morning browsing a pop-up market where bootstrapped apps demo their prototypes. The goal isn't to hard sell yourself, but to breathe the same air, literal or virtual, as people who speak your dreams language. Over time, faces become familiar, chats turn into coffees, and stray remarks, "We actually need a junior designer," land straight into your lap. While most networking advice pushes upward, I want you to aim diagonally. Talk to professionals 1 or 2 steps sideways. Adjacent fields that overlap your target industry. For example, a copywriter might chat with a UX research lead. A fitness coach might meet a workplace culture consultant. Diagonal contacts often cross-pollinate ideas and introduce you without the bottleneck of competing hopefuls camping outside the same C-suite doors. Because you're not directly after their job, the vibe feels lighter and they're likelier to share intel or pass along a warm introduction. Now, translate the habit into your digital life by tweaking micro signals that pull people towards you. Update your LinkedIn headline from marketing associate to email marketer building conversion funnels for early stage SaaS. That extra specificity acts like SEO for humans, letting algorithms and casual scrollers connect the dots. Or you can even set your Twitter bio to mention the very conference hashtag you plan to attend. Attendees searching the tag may follow you before you even step off the plane. Small edits widen the digital net without a single cold pitch.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, pod friends. Jen from the Halfway to Dead podcast here. Quick break for some real talk. Midlife is freaking hard, am I right? Are you ready to ditch the BS, flip the script, and finish this life strong? Of course you are. Join me to listen to real conversations that don't shy away from the hard, messy stuff. And yeah, we get a little woo-woo along the way. Let's hit the road on this midlife spiritual journey together. Halfway to Dead, served up with humor and heart. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
After each collision, practice the 24-hour follow-through. Thank the panelist whose analogy clicked, DM the webinar host with one takeaway, or send a short voice note to the designer who admired your train sketch series. Quick reciprocity keeps your name fresh while the interaction is still warm. You're not begging for favors, you're confirming that you're an engaged human and not a business card on legs. And I want you to track coincidence like data. Keep a running note titled Serendipity Log. Jot every unexpected lead, a podcast invite, a random article that answers a burning question, a mutual introduction out of nowhere. Seeing the list balloon does two things. It trains your brain to spot subtle doors opening, and it proves in black and white that the strategy works even on weeks when nothing earth-shattering lands. And expect resistance from the part of you that defaults to Netflix instead of a meetup in the rain. Reframe the outing as research, not small talk. Even if you leave early, you gathered sensory proof of the room. Dress code, jargon, energy level. That will make the next entrance way smoother. Progress accrues in those low-stake reps long before a marquee opportunity arrives. Over a few months, your calendar, inbox, and explore feed start to tilt toward the world you want to live in. And when a friend texts, "Hey, my team needs a freelancer and I thought of you," it won't feel cosmic. It'll actually feel expected because you built the lens for that message to reach you. That's Serendipity Engineering, designing enough collisions that the improbable becomes predictable. Moving on to point number 4, environmental coding. Let your space hustle for you. If your mindset is the software, your environment is the hardware that keeps it running or crashes it before lunch. We absorb thousands of sensory cues each day. Colors, scents, clutter, light, even the default browser tab. Every cue whispers either stay small or level up, nudging your nervous system long before motivation or willpower get a say. Coding your environment means editing those whispers so they chant your goals on loop, making manifestation feel less like self-discipline and more like gravity. So start with the surfaces you touch first thing. The phone lock screen that greets you at 7 a.m. can be pure distraction. News alerts, DMs, someone else's drama, or it can be a one-sentence promise you wrote to yourself. Swap the noise for a minimalist graphic that reads author in progress or wellness CEO. The words don't need fireworks. They need consistency. Each morning, your thumb absorbs the message before your prefrontal cortex remembers caffeine, quietly turning your reticular activating system towards proof that the statement is real. I want you to move to a line of sight anchors. Vision boards get mocked because they're often messy collages taped above a dusty desk, but the underlying principle is very much solid. Your eyes feed your subconscious. So pick one tangible token that represents the next milestone and place it in a spot that you can't miss. Maybe it's a printed flight confirmation to Lisbon tuckled inside your laptop case, or a sample packaging label for the skincare line you're formulating stuck to your bathroom mirror. The item becomes a microjolt of intention each time you notice it, reinforcing the identity that you're stepping into. Next, you're going to edit friction. Actions that align with the life you're calling in should be logistically smooth. Actions that sabotage it should feel like wading through molasses. If the dream involves writing a book, leave your Word doc open and your notebook uncapped on the dining table. If you're weaning off impulse shopping, log out of Amazon on every device and stash your credit card in the hard-to-reach kitchen drawer. You're not relying on saint-level willpower. You are rerouting the path of least resistance so the right move feels effortless and the wrong one feels inconvenient. Lighting and sound are silent coworkers. Research shows bright, natural light boosts dopamine pathways linked to motivation. So if you can't live in a glass box condo, invest in a full spectrum bulb at your workstation. Pair it with ambient sound that matches the emotion you want more of. Crisp, lo-fi, I don't know how you pronounce it if you need focus, or mellow jazz if you need calm abundance vibes. Over time, flipping that desk lamp or hitting play on the playlist becomes second nature. Your body shifts into the energy of the goal before you've even typed a word. Now, to add to that, smell is also your ally because your scent shortcuts directly to the limbic system, the seat of emotion and memory. So choose an essential oil roller or candle you burn only while working on the dream task. After a week, the aroma itself summons the productive state, shaving minutes off the warm-up phase where procrastination usually sneaks in. And also, don't ignore social decor. The tabs that you keep open are furniture in your digital living room. Even on Instagram. Curate your feed so the first 3 stories on Instagram come from creators already living the outcome that you're after. Unfollow or mute the accounts that trigger comparison spirals. The algorithm will pivot within days, turning your Explore page into a vision tunnel instead of a highlight reel of other people's wins. Finally, I want you to schedule a monthly environment audit. Pick a Sunday afternoon, walk through your apartment with a beginner's eyes, and ask, does this object help or hinder the identity I'm building? Donate clothes that whisper college me, or file papers you never reference, trash gadgets that stall your morning routine with pointless notifications. Clearing stagnant items frees up both literal and psychological bandwidth, making room, sometimes quite literally, for whatever you're set to attract next. Now, when your outer world hums in the same key as your intentions, resistances drop without dramatic pep talks. You sit down to write because the chair, lamp, and scent conspire to make writing the obvious move. Or you prep nutrient-dense lunches because junk food is hidden behind 3 pantry doors. At that point, the law of attraction isn't a wish. It's an architectural feature of your day. The space carries the weight so that your mind can stay light and manifestation accelerates on autopilot. It's all coming together. Now we're going to move into our last point number 5, which is strategic detachment. To hold the goal and to drop the deadline. Obsession is ambition in a straitjacket. The harder you squeeze a desire, refreshing email, watching the follower count tick like an airport board, the more your nervous system slips into threat mode, cortisol spikes, tunnel vision narrows, and suddenly you're repelling the very luck that you're chasing. Strategic detachment flips that script. You keep the intention crystal clear, but release the stopwatch, letting results flow on their own schedule while you stay loose enough to pivot. So I want you to start by treating every goal like a seed. You plant it, you water it, and then crucially, you stop digging it up to check the roots. Write your outcome on paper. For example, sign 3 retainer clients at $5K each, and tuck the page somewhere safe. The back of a journal, the Notes app archive, even a sealed envelope. This physical tuck signals to your subconscious that the order has been placed. You no longer need to hover. Think of it as closing the tab after you've clicked confirm purchase, because up next comes the progress log, then the let go rhythm. Each Friday, list tiny forward motions, an unexpected referral, a clearer elevator pitch, a morning you wrote outreach emails without dread, and acknowledge them. Celebrate with something small, like a walk or a playlist, extra avocado, and close the notebook, because the closing really, really matters. It tells your brain the scorekeeping window is over, and that now it's time to live. And when the urge to micromanage pops up midweek, remind yourself, stats are posted on Fridays. This containment keeps your nervous system from spiraling into scarcity between checkpoints. Now, when timelines stretch, swap judgment for data collection. Instead of why hasn't the client signed yet, ask, what is this gap teaching me? Maybe the proposal lacked a clear ROI slide. Maybe your follow-ups need a softer tone. Reframing delays as intel turns waiting into learning, diffusing the panic that blocks creativity. Data isn't personal, it's neutral, so use it, tweak the process, and then move. Now, to keep momentum without clutching, build detachment rituals. Simple activities that absorb your focus so the goal can cook in the background, like a sunset run, a ceramics class, game night with your friends, literally anything. Choose something immersive enough that checking metrics feels literally impossible. The ritual acts like a pressure valve, releasing pent-up urgency and resetting emotional chemistry. Counterintuitively, big breakthroughs often land after these pockets of productive neglect when your mind is relaxed enough to spot non-obvious solutions. Now, I want you to guard against outcome envy by curating the inputs you can control. If scrolling success stories sparks tightness in your chest, mute or unfollow for a season. Replace that feed time with skill reps. Sketching logo ideas, practicing discovery calls, reading 1 chapter on pricing psychology. Action that you can influence beats comparison that you can't. And every micro skill mastered becomes another magnet for aligned opportunity. Finally, I want you to practice future gratitude, a softer cousin of affirmation. Everyone talks about practicing gratitude, but not enough about future gratitude. So each night, thank the version of yourself who already lives the outcome. For example, thanks future me for showing how calmly you handle a full client roster. Gratitude assumes possession. It tells the brain the thing exists somewhere on your timeline. trimming anxiety without diluting desire. And neuroscience shows that imagined gratitude lights up reward circuits almost identical to real accomplishment, giving you the emotional payoff now and keeping your frequency steady. Now, strategic detachment is not resignation. It is relaxed precision. You still show up, you still email, design, rehearse, only now you do it from a state of enoughness rather than grasping. That state is magnetic. Prospects sense ease on a discovery call. Friends mention you to decision makers because your energy feels spacious and not needy. And when the email finally pings, contract attached, excited to start next month, you're going to realize the letting go phase wasn't wasted time. It was fertile ground where unseen variables aligned. So plant the seed, water with consistent action, track progress in bounded bursts, and then let the soil do its quiet work. The balcony life you pictured in the intro, it doesn't arrive on command. It arrives when you've built the habits, gathered the data, and relaxed your grip enough for the delivery truck to park. That's strategic detachment. Ambition with breathing room, a partnership between intention and trust. And that's our playbook. You've now learned how to clear hidden doubts with shadow work, lock the right feeling into your body, widen the net for lucky breaks, let your space whisper your goals back to you, and finally hold the vision without strangling the timeline. Manifestation isn't a wish, it's a system. Mind, body, place, and patience working together until the life you pictured feels ordinary. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys made it this far, I appreciate you so much, and I can't wait to chat with you again in next week's episode. Lots of love, Parmis.